Boys, girls, everybody in the house, y'all. So I got some new internet plan, and hopefully it looks a bit clearer. I hope it's in high def. It's supposed to be in 25 frames a second, 920 by 1080. Hopefully it looks a bit nicer than it used to last time. You might be able to actually read my multimeter this time. It's always a good thing. So I'm having a look at this Marshall today. Just got the approval on the dart that I threw on the price. Looks like it's nothing super catastrophic, but I'll show you the issue. So fired it up there. I've got some signal going in. Gains at about 12 o'clock. Masters at about 12 o'clock. I'll turn that down a bit. And poking around a bit, I found, what part was it? That one there, that cap. Just touching it, wiggling it back and forth makes the signal come in and out. So that's your classic cracked solder joint or broken circuit board trace. But it only works when I hold it there, and that is me turning the FX mix towards wet. It only works when it's pretty much all the way dry. And you can hear it's very crackly there too. Now I checked the resistance on that pot and it's not the pot's fault, so I think something is leaking DC. I'll check that as well. Or it could be a broken trace. It could be something, it sounds to me like on the verge, like something's going in and out of bias. Sort of cuts out. You hear there's a bit of distortion there. That's right on the. That's right on the edge. It starts to distort as you turn it. As it starts to cut out, it gets more and more distorted. Then it fades out. So that's, to me, I think something's getting put in the cutoff. So that could be an op-amp, the input being beyond its swing, or wouldn't be its swing capability, but something is going out of bias there, it sounds to me. Anyway, it could just be something stupid, but I don't know, I'm probably getting in over my head until I have a look at it. It's probably just a cracked solder joint. But let's have a look, eh? So disconnect the power. This is a fully solid state amp, and it's 100 watt. Oh, the other thing I noticed was the plug on the reverbs. I think it was the send. The tip snapped off, so there's no tip in that plug. So I'll replace that plug as well. But yeah, so at the moment, really, you're just gonna watch me disassembling an amp, which is probably the most boring thing in the world. But hey, nothing else to do, eh? With all the doom and gloom, you just sit there thinking about the world. Nah, mate, let's fix some stuff. So I'll pop all the knobs off. They come off pretty easy. They don't have any set screws, these ones. They just push on. Do a time trial for amp disassembly. Hopefully you can hear everything. So it's a 10mm socket, got a tube socket, so you can fit it over the shaft of the pot without having to use a ring spanner. Pretty old amps, these ones. I think they were post valve state, I believe, but pre-MG. I don't know. I don't really, I'm not that big a solid state Marshall fanboy. So this one should just be a matter of fixing some solder traces, or some circuit board traces. Possibly not even that, maybe just some solder joints on the pins of the component. They are pretty chunky components, so they've got a bit of mass to them, so they vibrate around a little bit, and they can crack their connection to the circuit board. Right, so there's all the washers on there, which I don't want to lose. There's a washer on every pot shaft. I know it's not a very boutique amp to be working on, but hey man, it's got to be fixed, eh? They never all come off. You got to keep everything in a container when you do this. Not optional. That one's got a bit of grease on it, like someone's tried to lube it before, but I think the problem isn't just a dirty pot, it's got other issues. Some pots, if the wafer gets cracked, so the way a pot works is it's basically a track of sort of conductive material, and it's got a wiper that wipes around on the track. If that track cracks, the pot will work up to a certain point, and then after the crack it'll still turn, but it won't operate as expected. It'll either drop out past that or not function like it should if it's a volume control. If it's a tone stack, it does all sorts of other weird stuff. Alright, so it's kind of a weird construction on this one for a cheapo Marshall. It's got like a fully enclosed box there for the tranny, which is kind of weird. It was actually buzzing a little bit from the magnetic field created by the transformer itself, like just audio buzzing, not coming through the speaker, just like audible from the chassis itself. So I might stick a bit of neoprene or something in there when I reassemble it. This has got a big bastard heatsink which just relies, there's no fan, so it just relies on convective flow. It's got cutouts in the vent down there in the bottom, and it's got a vent in the top of the cabinet, I believe. Or not. It's just got a vent in the back there, so I guess they want the air to come up and out of there. Right, but this thing cranked up would be pretty loud, so it's probably barely ever getting used to full capacity. Class A/B amps actually get the hottest when they're running about 1/3 of their output power. The output stage is least efficient, generates the most heat. Alright, so we've got some screws to undo it. I don't want to remove the transistors because I can inspect them from underneath. I just want to remove the board and heatsink assembly. So that's got some screws going into the extrusion from the underside, so I'll unscrew them that side, and then I'll leave, you can see there's a couple of standoffs there, I'll leave them screwed to the chassis and then just remove the circuit board from them to try and make it a bit less of a pain in the ass to put back together, eh? So I've got 4 screws for the heatsink there. Probably sick of getting flooded by live videos with all this virus shit going on. Every dickhead and his dog's doing a live video, but I was doing it first, so you know, screw you. Oh, someone stripped that screw out. Possibly from the factory, or maybe someone else has had a go. We'll soon find out. We'll see how bad the soldering is, eh? It's usually a bit of a giveaway. bloody awesome day outside today. It's hard to believe all hell's breaking loose. Seems pretty nice to me. Alright, so we're loose there. We've got the boards mobile. Got all our connectors over here. We've got red, chassis, black. So that's your secondaries from your transformer. Plus and minus in your chassis earth, which is hard soldered. Everything else is on spade connectors, so I'll just disconnect some of them. They were a little bit too easy to undo. Normally they're a pain in the ass, so I might retension them when I put them back on, otherwise we might be having some intermittent signal issues or power issues. See if that gives us enough slack. It's already fallen off anyway, so I'll see if I can wrangle it around that. It's a bit of a tight chassis given the size of it. I don't think I'm going to be lucky doing that. Might have to disconnect the mains there. Looks like one of them's been hard soldered by someone. Probably factory as well, actually, looking at that. Might just remove the speaker jack. Why not, eh? In for a penny, in for a pound and whatnot. So it's the speaker and I believe the line out jacks. Just cliff style. Don't even need a spanner for them. There we go, now it's out of the way, that comes out a bit easier. Big ass board. Might slide this chassis over and leave it attached. Time is of the essence on these repairs. Because the amps aren't worth a mint. You don't want to be charging the world for them. Bit of isopropyl to clean the flux residue off the board. So our problem was in this area. Where was that cap? That one. Oh yeah. See if I can zoom in on that. I think the camera's about to fall off. Try again. Alright, you see anything moving there? There it is, little bugger. Too far again. See that pad? It's completely come off. So that's the problem with the signal cutting out completely. So I'm going to have to hardwire that in place. I just want to inspect around the pots. The pot connections appear to be okay still. Although I've seen that before and they weren't. Might be a thing where I've got to look at them real close up, so you might have to look at the top of my bald head here for a minute. Solder connection might be a bit suspect actually, looking real close. That's the pot in question. So I think I'll just go through, give all the pots a touch up, and I'll probably replace that cap so I can get a longer lead and it can just come straight through and wrap around that component's lead. Is that another resistor nearby? And just give her a general service and a clean up and see how we do. So yeah, thanks for watching, champions. Hopefully that quality was a bit better, although looking this end it's not that much better than it was, so I probably wasted time upgrading my internet because now everyone's on Netflix. Anyway, thanks for watching, champs. See you later.